Adam here from the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have the Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat. Now this one also has the premium package, and it's pretty much fully loaded. So we'll look at the interior, the exterior, and then go for a spin around. All right, so now we're behind the wheel of the SRT Hellcat, and this also has the premium package as well as one other package, so this is as fully loaded as you can get one. This is the Destroyer Gray exterior, and this has the demonic red leather inside. It goes onto the dash in this model. You've got the sunroof in here. There's a lot of really cool equipment that we'll touch on, but before we even get going, we've got our cell phones with us all the time, right? So this actually has wireless charging down here, and then I've got Apple CarPlay, so I've got my Google Maps, my Spotify, all that good stuff right at arm's reach, so I don't even have to touch my phone once I get in the car. I've also got a remote start. It is windy and freezing cold today, so I was actually able to fire this up before I hopped in. Not only does it sound awesome, but it was nice and warm, and you can turn your heated seats on here as well as your heated steering wheel. So let's drop it and drive and go for a little spin around. Immediately, there's some cars that you get in and you know that they feel kind of special, right? This one is definitely one of those. It's got a ton of different modes you can select. So there's this little SRT button here, and it goes from auto, sport, track, there's a snow mode, and then there's also a tow mode. So as a usable day-to-day vehicle for a mid-size SUV, this tows 8,700 pounds. So if you had a Challenger drag car, you could actually tow that to the track with your Hellcat Durango, which is pretty cool. So not only is that going to be one of the best in class towing, but it's going to have the best horsepower and the fastest American production SUV. Now, what powers the Hellcat Durango obviously is the 6.2 liter supercharged Hemi. Now that's going to give you 710 horsepower. In some of the tests I'd seen, I think it was Road and Track or Car and Driver, they were doing 0 to 60 shots in something like 3.5 seconds, which is nuts. This thing's like being on a roller coaster, but instead of just putting one person next to you like some of the other Hellcats, you can put 4 more people behind you and still get pretty close to those speeds. So it's definitely be more fun when everyone's screaming on the roller coaster with the whole family in here. But I mean, overall, as a day-to-day car, something you can live with, something that's usable, the Uconnect system in here is incredible. It's lightning fast. There's a backup camera that when you kick it into reverse, or if you just go to the home screen, you can go over to apps or vehicle, and that's gonna let you pull up the camera right there. So there's also parking sensors in here, but visibility is pretty good. For a mid-size SUV, I like the seated position in here. The seats obviously are extremely comfortable. Like I said, they're heated as well as ventilated. So the driving for day-to-day is awesome. Fuel economy, if that's something you're concerned about, that's probably not the reason you clicked on this video. I think it's rated at about 13. Maybe if you drove it kind of soft and maybe in the eco mode, you'd be looking at maybe 15 overall, but who cares? When you put the words supercharged and Hemi next to each other, no one's gonna be looking at fuel economy. You're just gonna be looking at that supercharger whine and putting your foot down. Now this one gets the 8-speed automatic transmission with the big paddle shifters here on the steering wheel. So it is fun. That supercharger whine is addictive, and I would be spending a lot of time either in jail or at the gas pump if I drove this every day. That's how much fun it is. Now on our digital display here, there's so much pertinent information that you can go through, whether it's just gonna be your regular speedo or some of your trip computer stuff. You can see boost pressure, you can see engine horsepower, some of the torque figures, tire pressure, and then you can even drop it down and see some of your SRT gauges. But what else is cool, if you click apps on here, you can do the performance meter, and that's also gonna pull up all that information as well. Lap timers, gauges, your dyno/engine mode would be in here, the G-forces you can pull. It's pretty cool, all the information that it can track for you when you're on the go, and it can remember that information. It can remember maybe your top speed that you had gone. Not that you want to be doing that on the road, but if you're out on the track, I mean, putting your foot down, I could see how you would want to figure out what the top speed would be. But beyond that, this one with the premium package, you get the suede headliner in here. This one does have the sunroof up above, and you upgrade from the Alpine sound system to the Harman Kardon sound system. And when I had my Spotify paired up, it's a pretty big upgrade. It does sound really nice in here. And then for the second and third row, that second row especially, you're gonna add another center console back there. So you've got USB charging, there's a household plug, and the second row is gonna have heated seats. Then if you jump into the third row, it's extremely easy to just click and then flip that second row forward. It kind of moves out of the way, and then people can crawl into the back. So if you got the kids, like I said, 6 people in here are gonna be pretty comfortable. And for a mid-size SUV, not a massive, I mean, it's not like a Suburban or anything else, but I mean, it gives you a pretty good amount of space. Then in the back, you do have a good amount of storage room. And if you're not hauling people, you can just simply pull those little like handles on the back there. It's gonna kick that third row down. You can come to the side, fold the second row, and you get a huge cargo area. So if you're hauling any larger objects around, you can kind of configure it how you want to fold down just one side or leave all of them down. It's pretty cool and does come in handy and is extremely usable. So let's talk about the exterior for a minute. Like I said, this is the Destroyer Gray, which is absolutely the color choice that I would go with. So this one also gets the black package. So that's the lights out aluminum wheels. They're the 20x10s. Some of the black or kind of dark gray badging that goes around the vehicle. But I mean, besides that, the hood vents up front look really cool. The LED headlights up front, and there's kind of that LED daytime running light. And then obviously the standard Dodge rear taillights that go across in the LED. It kind of designates the model, and you know when it's coming because you can see that big light bar on the back, and it does look really cool. This one also will have the black badges around the vehicle and the SRT up front, just letting everyone know, plus the Hellcat on the side, just to let everyone know that yes, this is the 700 plus horsepower family hauler. With all this speed, let's talk about safety. Now this one does get the adaptive cruise control, you've got blind spot monitoring, emergency braking, but this is stuff you can all configure in the infotainment screen here if you don't want to use it or if you would like to turn it on. But besides that, you've got a brake controller in this model as well that you can also see in the digital display, but it's mounted just behind your push button start here. One other thing I didn't realize is the forged carbon interior accents. Usually you see the kind of carbon fiber look in some of the newer vehicles, but the forged carbon looks very kind of something you'd only expect to see on an exotic vehicle and really flows nicely. That demonic red leather on the dash and the regular leather up above here, then that forged carbon worked in, it's a pretty cool interior. And obviously we have to touch on price because this is one of the more expensive vehicles in the Dodge lineup, and this particular one, as loaded up as it can come, comes in at about $109,000. So the supercharger whine is part of obviously that over $100,000 MSRP, but there is a lot of luxury and equipment that you get in this model. Yes, Dodge said 2021 might be the last one, and now they brought it back for 23 as well as 24, and that will be the end of the Durango SRT Hellcat. So Dodge has kind of moved away from some of these big supercharged V8s for the future plans, so this could be kind of the last of a dying breed. And that's really a bummer to me because this, I mean, that's hard to replace with an electric vehicle. Putting your foot down, making a ton of noise, and having 700 plus horsepower on tap is something that Dodge has always done and has continued to hopefully do someday in the future. But for now, like I said, this is kind of one of the dinosaurs in the midsize SUV. It's a huge V8. It competes with something like the Kia Telluride. This probably has 500 more horsepower than that vehicle, and you can absolutely feel that when you're behind the wheel. Like I said, it gives you that special feeling every time you hop in the vehicle, and that's really what you're paying for. But from the driver's perspective, I've got USBs, I've got wireless charging, I love the thicker heated steering wheel in here. I mean, outside of getting the terrible fuel economy, if you want to drive this car day to day, not think about it, just have fun when you're behind the wheel, isn't that really what it's all about? If you want the enjoyment of being in a vehicle that sounds insane, that looks pretty cool or almost kind of sleek from the outside, I think the Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat absolutely has to be on your list to get out and take for a spin and just see how much fun it is. So that was just a quick look at the SRT Hellcat. Now, if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by anytime. We'd be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching.